Hey, welcome back. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bobby. I'm a part-time reseller based out of Northern Virginia, near like the DC area, but just outside, just to the west. And I do picking and part-time thrifting and also some retail arbitrage here and there. I'm also into storage units, which those have been pretty sparse lately, but for the most part, they're pretty easy. For me and my partner, we usually bid on ones that we know that we have a good chance with, and after that we go ahead and sell off everything in the locker. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna jump into the month of July, my sales for the month of July. This is a little late. I've been kind of busy. I went on vacation. I had a pretty big week at work, and we had a lot of stuff going on with our kids. So I'm sorry if those of you who are trying to keep up. Now I'm back. I'm gonna try to put out 2 more videos before my next month and then give you a review in August. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So we'll start with a pretty good item for me. This is a Miken fast pitch softball bat. And as you can see, it's pretty used, not in the greatest condition, but at the same time, it was in a pretty good condition. This is a 34-inch, 28-ounce bat. And this is actually the 3rd Miken bat that I've sold. This one went pretty quickly. I did an auction on it and only 3 bids. They average between $100 to $200 based on the condition. This was not in the greatest condition, so I was pretty happy with the $124. And the buyer paid right away, and I was able to ship it the very next day. Quick mover, 7-day auction, love it. All right, let's go ahead and we'll jump over here to the AirPods. And so this was a find in one of the storage lockers that I recently won, and along with my partner. And we tried our hardest to find the other AirPod. I believe I talked about this in a previous video when I was showing you some of the items that I got from the storage locker. And lo and behold, we didn't find it. I did power it up, I tested it, everything worked. And then I had it listed for $50. It took best offer because I countered it at $44.99 on a guy who was watching. And he ended up taking it, and it sold right away. So I was pretty pleased with it. And it was just the left ear, as you can tell. Okay, so this next item, I've actually been holding on to this for quite a bit. I'd say maybe 3-4 months. And I have put it in another video, previous video, and I remember seeing it. It looked so unique, I couldn't pass up on it. And what I did was I ended up doing a Google image search, reverse image search, and I ended up finding out that this was actually part of a pair. I believe there was like another knife or utensil that came with it, but the sold comps on just the pizza cutter were pretty good. And, you know, it was in pretty good condition. I didn't have to do anything to clean it up or anything to make it look any different than the way I found it. I paid $2 for it, so turning it into 30 bucks. It shipped, you know, first class. It was a great pickup, pretty unique item, and I was pretty pleased with the return on that. Okay, so here's a Sam Bradford Nike Sooners jersey. And so if you know anything about college, the names are not typically put on the back of jerseys. And so I thought about listing it as a Sam Bradford jersey, but instead I went ahead and I copied someone else's jersey that had sold for about the same amount. And I listed it, and it actually went within a week. I was pretty pleased. It's outside of college football season, which I was surprised. I was thinking I was going to hold on to it for a while for 50 bucks, but I ended up getting a buyer for it, and it didn't take me long to sell. Also a first class package, which was great. So here's a pair of shoes. This is from an earlier video that I talked about. I did some more research on them. I didn't want to list them right away. I ended up cleaning them up quite a bit. I tried to get them as new as possible, and as you can tell, they're pretty clean. And what happened was I thought I had something rare, ended up not being as rare as I thought. However, still a pretty good pair of shoes. It was also a men's pair, which I wanted to do a little bit more research on and figure out what kind of men's shoes in this breast cancer colorway sold for. And ended up being roughly a little bit cheaper than what the women's shoes were selling for. But I was pretty happy. I ended up selling it right away. Already got positive feedback on it, and it was a great sale. It was a great pickup. I was glad that I saw it. I ended up paying up on it. I think I paid like 20 bucks for these shoes. So getting $60 back was pretty good for me. So here's another item from an earlier video. I pulled this from a Goodwill. I recall the day I bought this because one of the people that rang me up, they were like, oh, I actually brought this out right before I was put on this register. And I was the first person in their line. And so it was just one of those things. It was pretty cool. I was able to scoop it right away. I know this is probably a pretty hot item for most people, a good collector's item. It was definitely an 80s retro jacket. And I was able to go ahead, size large, I was able to list it. I think I originally asked for $80 for it, and after about a month I dropped it down to $54.99, and someone bought it right up. It was great. All right, so we're gonna move on to this pair of shoes. So I'm not really familiar with these shoes. They looked like turf shoes the way the bottoms were. And basically what I did a reverse image search on Google and came up with, a couple of names. So then I typed that into eBay and I looked at some of the previous sold. If I remember correctly, there weren't a whole lot sold, but there were like 2 or 3 listed. And so I copied one of those listings, ended up undercutting that listing and just listed it for $50 just to get rid of these shoes. These were from a storage unit, didn't pay anything for them, so anything I got for them was going to be profit. And it was on a unit that we've already actually made our money back on. So this was a really cool pull, and ended up shipping priority in a shoebox. I think I paid like $7 for it. So not a bad pickup, pretty cool. I like the shoes too, the red. There was a little bit of damage on them, but on the metal part, as you can tell, or the bottom part, I apologize. But for the most part, they were in great condition. Really not worn that much. There's a little bit of discoloration on the toe, but nothing that a little bit of washing couldn't get rid of. But the treads were like really nice. See if I can get a picture of the treads. Yeah, see the treads were like really good. A little bit of gum residue on the bottom that I tried to get off. I couldn't get it all off. It was pretty good. So here's also another item from our previous video. I've had some trouble with this Whistle 3 dog whistle like tracking device, and when I got it I paid $5 for it at Salvation Army. It was probably the only time I've ever been to Salvation Army. It actually is the only time I've ever been to Salvation Army for my resale business, and it was the only thing I bought that whole day I was there. And I took it home, I powered it up, I couldn't get it to connect. I ended up contacting customer service. They tried to disconnect it from the previous owner, couldn't get it to work. Then finally they disconnected it. I sold it, and then I had the person reach out and say they couldn't connect. And I said, well, I have the confirmation email. I sent it to them, everything. They used that, ended up getting it fixed, and I haven't heard anything since. So pretty cool. Turned $5 into $50. It was real easy, and that shipped first class as well. All right, so we're gonna jump over to Facebook. It's kind of weird because pretty much all my videos, I have way more sales on Facebook than I do on eBay, but for the month of July, I just had a lot more of the larger sales on eBay. And just so you guys know, this isn't all my sales. These are just like the big ones or the most unique ones I like to pick out, usually 10 of them at a time. So here's a pair of shoes, and these were Ken Griffey Jr. Like turf shoes, and really cool colorway, the orange with the blue, white and gray. These were in pretty good condition. Not a whole lot of wear to these. I'm pretty sure the bottoms are pristine. A little bit of dirt here and there, but for the most part, they were pretty clean. As you can see, I originally asked for $72, just a ballpark number. I think I was asking for about $85 on eBay. And then after a couple days, someone said, hey, can we reduce it down a little bit? I said, I'll do $10 off. And he said, great, I'll buy them. So that went pretty quickly. I was pretty happy with those. And that was also from the same storage locker with the other red shoes. And so these, just icing on the cake as well. We had already made our money back on that. and then and some. And then here's another pair of shoes from that locker. And so, the theme is shoes. That guy had a ton of shoes, and I sold even more in the month of August. So probably my August video, you'll see some more. But right here, as you can tell, these are these Reebok Kamikaze 1 mid shot. They're basically like a Shawn Kemp pair. For those of you that are familiar with like the mid to early 90s NBA players. And so I try to clean this up as much as I can, as much as I could. And for the most part, they cleaned up. They're a little dirty, but I disclosed that in the post in the listing. And there was a little scratch like right here, so I took a good picture of that. And these surprisingly went for full asking at $40. I was thinking more, I'd probably settle at 30, but these went for 40, and not a bad pull. 10.5 size, which is usually a pretty good size for men's shoes. Usually between 9.5 to 10.5, you're going to get a lot of traffic. So that's it for the month of July. Those are pretty much my top 10 sales that I wanted to share with you guys. Again, like I've probably had a total of upwards of 50 to 60 sales for the month of July, and these are just the top 10 I wanted to share with you guys. August has been really good to me as well. I did take 1 week off where I went in vacation mode, and I plan on kind of sharing that experience with everybody in my next video. And for the most part, wasn't too bad to do that, but there are some tips and tricks that I want to share with you guys. And thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, definitely comment below or reach out to me on Instagram. If you get a chance, please subscribe to my channel. I'm posting as much as I can with what time I do have, and at the same time trying to source and thrift. I'm going to probably end up getting another camera to kind of take with me when I go sourcing and document a little bit more of what I'm doing. But for the most part, this is what you're going to see, and I really appreciate everyone coming by. And if you can, subscribe, and then I'll see you guys next time. All right, thanks a lot.